Hey everybody, welcome back to the Royal Read. I am so glad you decided to stop by and see what I'm reading on. But before we get started, you already know every single time I'm going to invite you in because this is the best tribe, the best community on these internet streets, and I want you to be a part of it. And if you don't believe me, if you think I am just blowing smoke up your skirt, go in those comments, talk to somebody. I promise you, you're going to be impressed because they are an impressive group. And I am not bragging, these are facts. And once you get through in the comments, you know what you need to do? Come on out, look down in those settings, look around, find that subscribe button and go ahead on and subscribe. And while you're in there, hit that notification bell too so you know when I upload or when I just want to pop in. And give me a thumbs up to fight my nemesis, the beast, the algorithm. Woo! It continues to drag me. It does. I was on top of it there for a while, but it did a flip on me. It did. Also, I just want to thank the readers who decide to support the channel by watching the commercials. Listen, I know it's not easy, but let me tell you, it really, really helps. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, look over there in the corner. That's our join button. That's for channel memberships. And if you choose to become a channel member and a part of the reading club, you will be supporting my channel to grow, to improve, and to continue. And I will be so grateful, so thankful, so over the moon appreciative to have that support. And if you just want to do a one-time donation, our super thanks button is right on the other side, and all donations to the channel is always greatly appreciated. All right, y'all, we do have some shout outs. We do. And the first shout out goes to Kino Najari. Kino, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the super thanks, but most of all, thank you for being here. You have not been with me for long, but boy, did you hit the ground running. You are always in the comments, always dropping the knowledge, always supporting. You are. You are going to be a huge asset to this community. I already see it, and I am just thrilled to pieces that you are a part of our tribe. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the super thanks, but most of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this tribe. You are everything. Next is Elizabeth Cumberbatch. Elizabeth is already a ride or die. Elizabeth is always down for the read. Elizabeth rides for this community. And I'm going to tell you, she is everything. She shows up every time. She supports every time. And she is always in those comments sometimes setting me straight. I'm telling you, she's everything, and I just love her. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you for the super thanks, but most of all, thank you for being here, and thank you for being such a huge part of this community, a huge part of this tribe. I'm telling you, you are everything. Also, Gwen Stevenson. Gwen has been with me pretty much since the beginning. She has, and she has never, ever failed this community or me. She is a ride or die. She always come through. She is there to give me a pick me up, with a kind word every time. She is there to say good morning to me every morning. She is everything. She is. She is a huge part of this community. She's an OG of this community. I don't even want to think about what this community would be without her. It definitely would not be as good. So thank you, Gwen. Thank you for the super thanks, but most of all, thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you. Also, Christina W. Now, I did not use your last name because you sent this through Cash App. And I don't know if you wanted me to use your last name or not, but Christina, thank you. I see you in the comments. You are such a huge part of this community, such a huge supporter of this community. You show up. You show up for the read all the time. And I am so grateful for that support. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the super thanks. But most of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Well, thank you for the Cash App. And thank you for being here because you are everything. All right, y'all. I'm going to play this and then I'll see you on the other side. All right, y'all. I want to give another quick shout out to Kino Najari, Elizabeth Cumberbunch, Gwen Stevenson, and Christina W. Listen, thank you, thank you, thank y'all. Thank you for the super thanks. Thank you for being down with the read. Thank you for supporting. It means everything. But most of all, your presence in this community means everything. So don't forget that. It means everything. All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is, and y'all know what I do when I am putting the read together. I hit these internet streets, and that is exactly what I have been doing. I went to most of the social media platforms. I did peek in on Blue Sky. I went over to Instagram to see what was up with the squatties over there. And of course, I landed on X, formerly known as Twitter, my home away from home, the sewer, yes, and the squatties over there are talking about a whole lot of things. And let me tell you, it is a lot of chatter, chit chatter out here on these internet streets. They're talking about how well Meghan's wine sales are going. Yes, they are talking about that. And they're talking about that Kitty and Peggy aren't the only one who is taking favors from Arab sheiks. No, they're not the only one floating around on a super yacht. It's another one. It's another one of those so-called working royals are on a yacht as well. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how the Mirror is outing William as the bully we have always known him to be. Big shocker. Big shocker because we already knew this. But it is nice to show that every time they try to blame Meghan or try to frame her as some kind of bully, and they know who the bullies are, they know. They have exposed Charles and now they're exposing William. Why? I don't know. Some of the squatters are saying the girls continue to fight. And I kind of believe that because it's really funny that Peggy and Kitty was floating around in the Greek Isles on a super yacht and all of a sudden somebody else got outed. Yeah, they're photographed with their hoofs on the deck of a super yacht as well. So we're going to talk about all of that. And we have a few other things we're going to talk about. So let's get started. I'm going to put this up first. And this is an article from Harper Bazaar. And it's talking about Meghan's wine sales, and Meghan pretty much hit it out of the park as she usually does, I must say. And they're talking about how Meghan was selling 1,000 bottles of wine a minute. Yes, this last drop, Meghan sold 10,000 bottles of wine in 10 minutes. Unheard of. Absolutely unheard of. And the name of the article is How Duchess Meghan's Rosé Made Her Company Sales Skyrocket. Harper Bazaar has an exclusive details on As Ever Whirlwind Summer. Yes, and it's such a great article. Now, I'm not going to go into the article, but basically they're talking about As Ever and Meghan's wine and how terrific it is and how well it is selling. and how her company is skyrocketing. Its profits are skyrocketing. Its sales are skyrocketing. And they are. And I just love it. I do. And I'm going to put this up. And this squatty is talking about the 10,000 bottles of wine sold in 10 minutes. It says, as ever saw 10,000 bottles of the 2024 Napa Valley Rosé purchased in the first 10 minutes that the wine was available to buy. 20% was made by repeat customers, many of which purchased the 6 and 12 pack size. I see you, Sussex Squad. Yes, and they're referring back to the article in Harper Bazaar. Yes, Meghan was clocking them dollars. She was. And she was selling that wine. And most of all, the Sussex Squad, it was doing what it does best. And that is coming through for Meghan. Because I said this several podcasts back. If you are on these internet streets and you're dealing with these deranged individuals, and then they have the nerve to think that Meghan is not supposed to support herself, not supposed to work. Meghan has to work because she has to pay for her security. And if you're on these internet streets, you will know how important that security is. It is some crazy people up on these streets. They are. They behave as if Meghan has personally done something to them. Harry and Meghan need their security. That's why they need to work. And that is the reason why Harry took their security so serious. I mean, and that is another reason why Charles taking their security away from them was such a dangerous thing and an uncaring thing. That's why you can never ever convince me that Charles is a good and decent human being, because you would never put the lives of your child, your grandchildren, and your daughter-in-laws in jeopardy, in danger. And that's exactly what he did. And for me, I can't speak for Harry. For me, that's a deal breaker. It really is. Because, like I said, if you really are out here, you know how really crazy these people are. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this one up. And this particular squatty reposted that article from Harper Bazaar bragging on Meghan's rosé and how it was just flying off of the website. I cannot. I am so thrilled about it, y'all. I have to bask in Meghan's success and the success of the Sussex Squad, because they are always supporting. They are. And this particular squatty reposted the article and said this: Meghan will continue to be successful because the Sussex Squad and Twitter family and other supporters are going to make sure of that. You put anything out there for sale and we're going to buy it. Where is the lie? Where is it? Because we support Harry and Meghan. That is a full stop for us, because the injustice, the bullying, the smear campaign, all of that, coupled with the fact that Meghan is selling terrific products. She is. She is a great businesswoman. So why wouldn't we support that? But yes, I love it. And it goes on to say, way to go, squad and Twitter family and all the other great people that supported Meghan. Yes, Meghan was doing that doggone thing, but she went by herself. The Sussex Squad, Twitter family, other supporters came on through. They did, and they continue to support. And I am just thrilled about it. And this squatty said, do you know how incredible it is to be averaging 1,000 bottles of rosé per minute with zero marketing, seemingly most of the world hating you, and only open to one massive market. Do you know how strong Meghan's support is to establish this pretty much every drop? And they said this particular drop, this last drop for her rosé, it was 3 times as much wine available than her last drop. And Meghan was selling 1,000 bottles of wine a minute. Oh my goodness. I am so proud of everybody. Not just Meghan, but the Sussex squad, all the supporters, everybody. Yes, making Meghan successful. And absolutely making those folks across the pond let them know that they don't have the power to destroy this woman. We have the power to make her a success. And that's exactly what we intend upon doing. And just like this squatty posted, absolutely incredible. I love it. Exactly that. I love it. I do. And it is incredible. I'm just saying. And this particular squatty is posting about what I said earlier. It says, as ever, increased its inventory by 3 times from its July rosé drop to its August rosé drop. The spokesperson says that the brand sold nearly 50% more on day one of its August 5th drop than it did on its July 1st drop. So it actually sold more this time around. Y'all are incredible. Y'all are. I'm telling you, y'all are just incredible. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. I'm so proud and I'm speechless. I'm just saying. All right, y'all, we're going to change gears a little bit from Meghan to the horse. Yes, y'all remember earlier in my introduction when I said that Peggy and Kitty are not the only ones floating around on a super yacht? No, they're not. Look like the horse is too. And the reason why this is interesting, because Lord knows I could care if they all floated away. But it's the fact that the girls are fighting because somebody exposed Willie and Kitty. And now they're getting exposed. Yes, they are getting exposed. The horse is out there walking around on a super yacht and evidently without Charles. I don't think they spend much time together. I really don't. They absolutely are always separated. And they pretend like he loved her so much. Well, I'm just saying. But anyway, this particular squatty posted this, and as you can see, it says Camilla and her Tory donor yacht Queen free summer getaway on Saudi tycoon's $30 million pleasure boat. Yes, Camilla out there sunning with the Saudis. And we all know her reputation for bed hopping. It might be a little more going on. I'm just saying. Now, I'm not saying that's true, but we all know what has been said and has been done in the past. I'm just saying. It says William Parker Bowles and his mother, Camilla, seems to be loving getting freebies from Saudis. Laugh out loud. Like mother, like son. Exactly. But I got a feeling that the girls are fighting. Yes, Camilla exposed them out there in the Greek Isles on a $500 million yacht, you know, just using up all kinds of fuel and making such a carbon footprint that it would take almost 1,000 years to make up for it. This is their way of getting back at being exposed and exposing her. But we all know those folks over there, they're constantly throwing rocks while they live in glass houses. And this is an example. They outed Kitty and Peggy. And now Kitty and Peggy is outing the horse. At least that's what squatties believe. Because why is she on the front pages of the Mirror showing all her varicose veins to the world on this yacht. I'm just saying. All right, y'all, I'm gonna put this one up. And this particular squatty reposts that same front page of Camilla out there. I look at this picture and I think to myself, the proper queen would have never, ever thought of doing some nonsense like this. You know, when you look back at Elizabeth II, boy, now you can say a whole lot of things about Betty, but she knew how to be queen. She did. And this woman is just a disgrace. But I digress. This particular squatty said, laughing my FA off. You guys, LMAOOO, laughing my arse off. Oh, the bitches of Windsor are fighting. Yes, they are fighting. And they're briefing on one another. I'm just saying, just a family of snakes. They just bite one another. It's sad. So glad Harry and Meghan escaped that snake pit. I'm just saying. And this squatty says, laugh out loud, who's the yacht girl now? Like I always say, everything the Rangers accuse Meghan is what their faves are doing. Projection always. Now, I don't know if you could call the horse a yacht girl or not. That's kind of like calling her a human being. But what I do know is this, if it was Harry and Meghan on these super yachts, taking these freebies from these scurrilous Arab sheiks and then leaving such a huge carbon footprint, out here just burning through fuel and exhaust going into the air, but yet and still will go away to South Africa, due to go to South America to preach to other people about the environment. Harry and Meghan would have been crucified. And what has been said about Peggy and Kitty and the horse, this showing them on the front pages and everything, that is nothing. It would be hell to pay for Harry and Meghan. It would be raining down articles, vicious, vile articles, if Harry and Meghan did such a thing. And they are private citizens. So, yes, projection is real. But these people would be on the BS if it was Harry and Meghan. And everyone knows that. I'm just saying. And I'm going to put this up, and this is from Cameron Walker, that little pipsqueak. I think he's from GB News, yes. And he says this, Buckingham Palace has announced plan for the royal family to mark VJ Day next week. But the Prince and Princess of Wales are not taking part in any public engagements. Some lazy folks, aren't they? They are not even going to participate in VJ Day. What is going to happen when he becomes the sovereign? And he has to participate in all these things. He don't want to do any of it. And this squatty came up under that and said this, if true, it is not exactly a surprise, as it's neither a sporting event, skiing, or a luxury holiday. Why would anyone expect them to show up? Exactly. These are the two laziest individuals. They are just the same. Neither one of them wants to do anything except get the big hat, get the power, get the title, but they don't want to put in any of the work. Can you imagine missing BJ Day? BJ Day. They are missing that. Can you imagine if Harry and Meghan had stayed over there? They would have worked them to the bone. I'm telling you, it would have been Harry and Meghan all the time while living in substandard housing and not receiving any pay on Meghan's part, because Meghan wasn't getting anything. She was not getting a stipend for her clothing, for her food, for her time, for her effort, for showing up to all these events, for doing royal work. Everybody else was getting paid some money except Meghan. And then they had the audacity on top of that to say anything about her leaving. Why wouldn't she leave? Why wouldn't she leave? To be so little valued to the point where they didn't even want to feed you. Isn't that something? But yes, they would have been worked to the bone and given nothing. They would have made sure that they kept their feet on their necks. Harry and Meghan never would have been able to make it over there. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. I'm just putting this one up to be messy and to get a little kiki from. But this I found so hilarious. This particular squatter said the person that came up with the name Princess Sick Note is a legend. Yes, they are starting to call Kitty Cat Princess Sick Note. And I love it. I do. Because I'm telling you, she'll pass in a sick note in a minute. And WikiLeaks don't even bother with a sick note. Just say he's not coming. They're not going to VJ Day. Is that not unheard of? I mean, you're second in line. You're the heir. One thing about Charles, when he was second in line and he was the heir, he showed up. WikiLeaks do not show up. And nor does his mannequin wife. I'm just saying. Princess Sick Note. All right, y'all, we're going to change gears again. And it looks like the Mirror again is outing someone, and that would be Peggy. Yes, they're saying Peggy out here bullying his staff. Surprise, surprise. They say he's increasingly getting more and more aggressive. Surprise, surprise. I'm just saying. And this right here is a repost. And the original post posted this from the Mirror. And this little snippet from the Mirror says this. The royal commentator said, now for me, we hear a lot more now that more and more allegations, and that's all that you can say about William, are coming out. He added, it's coming out that his staff finds him at times very aggressive. You don't say. The man that has been described as incandescent with rage time and time and time again. A man that clearly is masking a lot of anger. That one, yes, is that the one that we're supposed to be surprised that is getting increasingly more aggressive towards people? Well, we're not surprised, because if you have had two eyes, you have saw it more and more and more that this has been happening. And his aggression towards his brother. His brother. So, no, I'm not surprised. And also, him losing Harry, losing his control over Harry, having to see Harry just blossom into this very successful global advocate and who has a happy and loving marriage and life away from that institution. And we all know how jealous he is. And I'm telling you, back when he was looking really, really bad, he's starting to look better now. He was looking really, really bad. I bet you he was almost impossible to deal with. Can you imagine? But this is the monster that they have created. And this is the monster that they're going to have to live with. I'm just saying. And it says, he added, it's coming out that his staff finds him at times very aggressive. And I know one of his many supporters for his housing charity, and this guy is a volunteer, and he was telling me that William is constantly on him all day, all night, saying, how much money have we made? How much money have we made? I cannot. I cannot. But yet and still, Meghan's supposed to be this huge bully. But now it's coming out who the real bullies are. And that would be Charles and William. And I also believe Kate. I believe Kate is probably almost impossible to deal with because of her insecurities, because of her mediocrity. When you have people who are mediocre and they're very insecure, they are hell on wheels. And I am sure she is just that. And you put all that together, I bet you that is a toxic stew over there at Kensington Palace. But like I said earlier, this is the Frankenstein monster that they created. Now they got to deal with it. I'm just saying. And it says, in addition to being aggressive, Pelham Turner said Williams' temperament has changed. That's in his 20s and 30s, he was easygoing. But now that he's in his 40s and his eyes are on the throne, he is very much more formal, insisting people address him as Sir versus using his first name. Yeah, what happened to just call me Willie? Y'all remember when Harry would say, just call me Harry. Meghan would say, my name is Meghan. And they were copying that. Now all of a sudden is you have to call me sir. Because it's an ego thing for him. When you are secure in who you are, you don't have to insist upon people respecting you because they automatically respect you. Willie, what do you have to respect him for? I mean, it is such mediocrity. It is. I cannot. But yes, he insists upon them calling him sir. He's getting more and more and more aggressive. And now the staff is starting to speak out. This same staff who actually cooked up all that nonsense against Meghan. And now they are reaping the benefits of their treachery. They have created this monster that is now just raging up and down and all around Kensington Palace, making their lives miserable and making a toxic working environment. I love it for them. I really do. Like I said, you built it. Now you got to live with it. I'm just saying. And the Squatty's original post says, it looks like people know that there is something not quite right about William. Aggressive. Yes, the real bully. The one that has always been the bully. Yes, he is showing himself and he's getting worse and worse and worse to the point where people are starting to talk. I love that for them. I do. And the squatty that reposted this said, oh, look, William bullying staff. Yes. And we all knew that this was the case. I know I did. I mean, he is a bully. He has attempted to bully everyone who has crossed his path, and that includes Meghan. Let's not forget the infamous finger in the face. Yes, trying to make her be under his control, bullying her, trying to humble her. And Meghan said, kindly get your finger out my face. Yes, and she said it very, very politely. Because, like I said, if he had gotten the wrong one, if Harry had married the wrong one, like a East Coast girly or a dirty, dirty South girly, yes, one of the girlies from the dirty, dirty South, I promise you, furniture would have been moved in apartment 4. Yes, it would have been rearranged up in that biatch, because that's one thing that not too many people, especially here in America, take kindly to. And that is putting your finger in their face. It's like, it's akin to somebody spitting on you. Don't put your finger in my face. That is a signal to rumble, if you know what I mean. That is something like kicking another person's dog. That is an automatic, let's move this furniture. Let's rearrange this furniture up in this biatch. I kid you not. But the gracious Meghan absolutely handled it perfectly. Like I said, a girly from the dirty, dirty South like myself, we would have had to rearrange the furniture up in there. We really would. And Kitty Cat was gripping on the end of that couch. When I got through with her, she would be gripping onto the ceiling. Yes, because I would have tossed her arse. Yes, I would have. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this one up. And another squatty posted the same article and said this. Where would Willie be if he didn't have the British media bound and gagged? His rage is as massive, as violent as Jupiter's great red spot. He's despised by those around him, and the media don't care for him. How he manages to have them bully Prince Harry and Meghan for him is a mystery. Well, at the end of the day, he's all they got. That's all they have is him and Kitty. So because Harry and Meghan is gone, done, served up plate after plate after plate of dust. And they're just trying to survive. That's it. They're circling the drain. And that's all they have is that the left behinds. And even though it's not much, it's all they have. So in order for them to try to survive, they keep hanging on to these mediocre losers and try to gin up hate for Meghan and Harry because that is bringing in some eyeballs. But we have saw the reports. The fail is failing. The Mirror is just absolutely downsizing to just about nothing. And the rest of those papers, the most paper over there that has the most circulation is the one that they give away for free. People are not buying the rags no more. And so this is why they do it. You know, it is some income in hate, and that family over there is all they have left. So they're just trying to survive because they're circling the drain and they know it. That's my opinion. That's why I think they continue with this nonsense. Y'all tell me what y'all think. But I also want to say this. I don't want to hear nothing else about Meghan being a bully because it has come out and been revealed who the real bullies are. And we all know that they say Meghan is a bully, but they can't come up with one thing that she's done to prove that she is a bully. Nothing. It's only an accusation. But with Charles and Willie, it is so weird to me that they have been accused of being bullies, and here is all the evidence. Here it is. But yet it's still none for Meghan. No evidence. But yet and still they keep digging up that dead horse. Now I saw not long ago where old Valentine Lowe was trying to dig up that dead horse. You know, he is the one who put it out in the ether that Meghan was a bully. That is the one they fed that story to. And so he's trying to get 15 more minutes of fame trying to dig that dead horse up again. But listen, I'm telling you, you can dig it up all you want to, but all it's going to do is stink because at the end of the day, it has been proven, it has been exposed that Charles is a bully, that William is a bully. And we all knew it, but now it's out there. We have the receipts. So I don't want to hear anything else about Meghan being a bully and Meghan losing staff. When you lose 11 people out of 12. Now, that right there is you have some problems with staff. And then saying because of the war, maybe you can get the people, the refugees, to work for you. I mean, how insensitive can you be? This is the human being that they call king. But talking about a dog that will not hunt anymore, meaning that whole accusations that Meghan is a bully, now that is a dog that will not ever hunt again. I'm just saying. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this one up. And this particular squatty posted that same article and said this: "Been and always will be unpleasant. Note the admission he was tolerable when Harry was around. No wonder they want Harry back to hold his hand and hide his true colors. Where is the lie? Where is it?" Yeah, he was tolerable then, but that was before Harry had a successful marriage, before Harry had a beautiful home and a beautiful family. That was before Harry had more than him. That was when he had Harry, had his foot on Harry's neck, where he was taking credit for all of Harry's ideas and Harry's work. Yeah, he was real pleasant back then. But now all of that is gone away. And he has to see Harry just absolutely thrive from afar. He is aggressive. He is mean. He is intolerable. Yes, that is the reason why. Because he is jealous. He's jealous and he's envious. And you can tell by his copying that's what's going on. I'm just saying. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this one up. And this squatty said William has been bullying his staff. Allegedly, more and more allegations are coming to light. There is a named source in this article. Now, that is the shocking part to me. Yes, when they named the person who worked with him on that housing project, y'all, they gave his name. They did. And he said that William called him all the time about how much money have they made. He said that with his full chest. And it says only covered in Scotland and US, go figure, despite presenting a gentle image during royal engagements. Now, I don't agree with this because I can see it. I see right through his nonsense and his phoniness and his mediocrity. And you can also see the anger in him. Go back and look at some of the footage from the Queen's funeral. It was all there on full display. He hates his brother. He hates his brother. And he hates the success of his brother. And that's a lot of where his anger is coming from because he no longer has control of Harry to make Harry's life miserable, to make Harry's life less than. And now that Harry has blossomed into this world advocate, that Meghan is constantly selling out of her products and she is on track to become a billionaire, he cannot handle that. And a lot of that anger, that frustration, that jealousy, that envy, it boils over and he spews it all over his staff, and I'm sure all over Kitty. I'm just saying. So, yes, none of this is a surprise to us squatties. We already knew. But I love having the receipt because, like I said, the next time they try to dig up that old horse, that old dead horse about Meghan being a bully, we just need to present the receipts. Yes, the receipts of the real bullies, because at the end of the day, they have never, ever, ever been able to present any evidence that Meghan is a bully. But boy, do we have evidence that Charles and Willie are. I'm just saying. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this up. And this is something I did not know. So y'all tell me if y'all knew it. And it started with a post from Kaiser from Celebitches saying that Peter Phillips will likely invite Prince William and Harry to his spring wedding. Now, I don't even want to get into that because we all know that Harry is not going to come to a wedding if William is going to be there. But this particular squatty reposted that and said something that I did not know. Y'all tell me if y'all knew it. It says Harry introduced Kate to the Queen at Peter's first wedding because William was off in Kenya with Jessica. Is that true? Is that true? They are saying that Kate got her first introduction to the Queen from Harry did it because William was off chasing his old girlfriend. That he was off chasing his old girlfriend in Kenya. Is that true? Because Harry is that kind of brother. He is a great brother. And yet and still, William never appreciated him. If this is true, William is a classic piece of shist, if you know what I mean. Because that is crazy to me. That you treat this woman who's supposed to be, I don't know if that was his fiance, Kate was his fiance at the time or what, but he clearly could care less about her. Can you imagine he treated her like this before they're married? Can you imagine how he treats her now? I'm just saying. If you knew this, put it in the comments, please, because I didn't. I'm just saying. All right, I'm going to put this one up too because it's something I have noticed as well. This particular squatty said, just as a reminder, guys, when there are articles about Harry and Meghan, they're starting to put it behind a paywall. When there are articles about Charles, Camilla, William, and Kate, it's free to access. The media is telling us who they value the most, and it's not the current lineup of the British working royals. We already knew that. And I have noticed that, especially with Richard Maureen Eden. All of his articles are about Harry and Meghan, and it's all behind a paywall. And we all know that he puts nothing behind the paywall when it comes to that family over there. Because at the end of the day, nobody cares. Nobody cares. But they constantly try to make money off of Harry and Meghan, making up their lies. But yes, I've noticed that too. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. I'm going to change gears, and it has nothing to do with Harry or Meghan or any of those folks across the pond. I want to talk about this hunter that this water buffalo absolutely killed. He was out stalking him, and the water buffalo ended up killing him, goring him. And online is ablaze with people declaring that they are Team Buffalo. I get you not. And I must say, I am Team Buffalo as well. And I'm going to put this up. This particular person said, going around killing animals unprovoked because you have money comes with the ultimate price. We are not sorry. And I'm telling you, this man is getting no sympathy. And when I heard about it, he did not get any sympathy from me as well. But it is so many funny little memes about this particular story on these internet streets. Now, I'm not reveling in anyone's demise. Don't get me wrong. That is not what I'm doing. But I cannot fathom someone seeing a beautiful animal and saying that I want to kill it. Look at this. I guess that's a mountain lion or some kind of lion or tiger or some. I don't know what it is. But yes, he just reveled in killing these animals, and you know he is not killing them to eat them. He is killing them to mount them so they can be in his den. It is disgusting to say the least. And a lot of people are just absolutely saying that they're Team Buffalo. I'm going to put this one up. And this is one of the funny memes that I found. I found out there, y'all. I can't help it. I am absolutely Team Buffalo because I think it's so sick to see a beautiful animal and say, I want to kill it. And it says, flying around, flying all the way from America in business class to kill an animal which has done no harm to you, only for the animal to send you back to America in a cargo section is the ultimate definition of poetic justice. A lesson for humankind. We are not sorry. This reminds me of the story of the elephant. Y'all remember the elephant? It was, I think maybe it was a year ago, where this woman, she helped these people to poach this elephant's little baby elephant. And they killed the little baby elephant. And you know how elephants are. They have a great memory, and this elephant remembered that this woman helped them to kill its baby. So this elephant, I think they said this elephant walked like 200 miles, found this lady, and shook her to death. I kid you not. Stomped her out and killed her because this elephant was furious about her helping them to kill her baby. Well, the elephant left, and then when it was time for the woman's funeral, the elephant came back for the funeral, took her out of her casket, and stomped her dead corpse out again. This animal was pissed about how this woman had treated her baby. And y'all know they say elephants remember everything. This elephant remembered this woman and just absolutely stumped her out, killed her, and then came back for her funeral and stumped her out, stomped her dead body out. So just like I was Team Elephant in that situation, I am Team Buffalo in this situation as well. Y'all tell me what y'all think of these stories. But like I said, one moral of this whole thing is to leave these beautiful animals alone. If a beautiful animal is not bothering you, you need to go on about your business, because don't get it twisted. They will come for your neck. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all a little later. Bye.